Hi everybody, we're gonna make some chocolate chip protein muffins. So I figured we would just go ahead and make them on a video. The recipe we'll post, so we've posted it this week, but we'll post it. But what we're actually gonna do that's a little different is we're gonna double the batch because I like to bring them to the gym on Saturday mornings. So we're gonna double the batch so that way we have enough for everybody to eat at the gym and then also enough for her to eat. So it's really, really easy to double the batch. So I just want to show you, like, in something like this, that it's very easy to take all these ingredients and put them in here and then double the batch. So we're going to start with just that chocolate chip protein muffin recipe that we have. And we're going to just take every ingredient on here and just double it. And the first ingredient is 2 scoops of vanilla egg white powder. And I would suggest using either the J-Rob or the MRM, or you could use collagen vanilla powder if you'd like. So, you know, if that's something that, you know, if you have vanilla protein powder at home, just use the one that you have. But I always suggest egg white or I suggest collagen. So it calls for 2 scoops of vanilla powder. So we have 4 scoops of that here because, again, we're doubling the recipe. So I'm going to add 4 scoops of that in there. And then we're going to do, it calls for a teaspoon of baking powder. And I get the aluminum-free baking powder. And I just pick that up at Fresh Time. You could also get it at Whole Foods. And so it's just baking powder, but it's aluminum-free baking powder, okay? And so that calls for a teaspoon of that. So we're gonna get the baking powder.
Okay.
Put that in there. So we've got 2 teaspoons because we're doubling it again. Sorry, we just inhaled some protein powder.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next thing is almond flour, which is, it's nice because this doesn't call for oatmeal, so it's a little bit lower carb. I mean, you don't even really have to put the chocolate chips in here, and it actually would taste good if you're really on a lower carb diet. So, you know, I am putting them in there because she enjoys them, and that's what helps her to enjoy having the muffins every day. So a half a cup of almond flour. So since we're doubling, I've got 1 cup of almond flour here. And then next ingredient is a half a cup of natural peanut butter. And I just get the Fresh Time version, and it basically just says peanuts. Well, I'll just tell you, it says dry roasted peanuts and salt. And this is just from Fresh Time, but Whole Foods has a version too. But I mean, Deerbergs even has the same exact thing. So you could get this at Deerbergs as well. So again, it calls for a half a cup, but since we're doubling, I've got a whole cup. This is definitely the messiest part of the process.
So do not let your kids do this one.
Oh, yeah. So we got that.
It looks like a mud monster right now.
Right. This is just that no stir peanut butter. Again, it's just dry roasted peanuts and salt. And so that's all that's in there.
There's some chocolate chips in there already.
Yes, there's a few chocolate chips in there. Okay, and then once we get done adding the peanut butter, we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to wait to stir this just because I want you all to be able to hear me. We don't have our microphone attached today, so I want to make sure that you can all hear us okay. 1 cup of unsweetened applesauce, and I usually get just the Fresh Time brand, the jars of applesauce. So that's what I usually get, and of course this is 2 cups because we're doubling. So we've got our 2 cups of applesauce.
Just applesauce now.
Right, covered in applesauce. Okay, then we've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla, which since we're doubling, we'll do 2 teaspoons. Good. And then 1 tablespoon, or for this, because we're doubling, 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup or honey. But we're using the pure maple syrup that I just buy at Fresh Time. Good. And then a half a cup, or for today, it would be a whole cup of, actually we only need, let's do this. Let's take some of this, put it in there. So we only need 1 cup of those oats. So we're ready, or not the oats, the chocolate chips. We're ready for those chocolate chips. Good, perfect. So normally I would wait to add, all of that. I would wait and just kind of fold those chips in. But given that we're going to be, I want to make sure that you can hear us. I'm going to just show you in this KitchenAid how easy it is to make this. And this, I just kind of started on low to get things kind of moving around. I've had this KitchenAid mixer for 15 years. I've been baking and cooking for all my life. I have multiple cookbooks, so for those of you that know me, for those of you that don't know me, I have multiple cookbooks. You can get them on Amazon.
It smells like the little muffins already.
Yummy. Okay, so I'm going to let that mix, and I'm going to show you at Williams-Sonoma the other day. I found these super cute pans that just have, they're just little
Why don't you show them the back
designs.
too?
Yes. So that's what they end up looking like. And then I found this one, and that's what they end up looking like.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. So we're going to fill those in. And then I normally would use... these are not normal muffin pans. They're very flexible, and they make it to where the muffin literally just pops right out. So I would suggest this, and this is BPA free. I bought these at Williams-Sonoma as well, so I'll also make them in here. Again, they're flexible, so it really just makes it to where the muffin just comes right out. And then tomorrow night, Sophie and I are going to make the chocolate ones.
But they're bigger, so they won't look like cake.
Right? So they'll look like little tart cakes. So she's going to have like a little chocolate protein cake, and then we ended up getting some of the coconut milk whipped cream, and we're gonna put that on top of her little chocolate protein cake. Right.
For
So,
breakfast tomorrow.
well, not for breakfast, but we'll just have that for some kind of treat tomorrow night. Okay, so this is blended, and that was just so easy to double that batch. Now it's going to make a ton of them. And of course, we're gonna bring it to the gym. And so I just wanna show you what I normally do. It's just really easy.
Here's the rest of the chocolate chips.
Yep, they look yummy.
Yeah, there's 2 chocolate chips.
I just take either a tablespoon, or I take like just, I just take like one of these types of guys. Now you could also use a small little ice cream scooper, and I'm gonna grab that so I can show it to you as well. And that works really great for scooping these out. Well, I think I'm gonna show it to you. We'll see if there we go. So, let me move this over just a little bit, So all I would do is take this little scooper. This is one way of doing it. I personally don't usually do it with this, but it is one way of doing it, and it works great. Take that little scooper, scoop it right into your pan, and you'll probably kind of go for 2 of them in something like this. In a regular muffin pan, you would definitely go with 2 of them. Another option, a tablespoon, just getting you a good sized tablespoon. Filling that guy up. And you're good to go. And you don't want it to be overflowing, because if it's overflowing, it's going to be too big. And the real key is you really want to make sure that all of them stay nice and even. So this is what that's going to look like after we have a full pan of them. And then we're going to put them in the oven. Now, because we have a double batch, everything, because I have a convection oven, I'm going to cook a few pans at the same time. But normally these would be cooked on 350, and I would say around 15 minutes. But, you might make adjustments to that as you go. So you might look at them and think, okay, I don't think that these are quite ready. I think that these need a little bit